I think I'm going to begin recording this meeting. Yes, great. Okay. So this afternoon, we just want to welcome everybody together. This is cohort one's meeting. So everyone in this meeting today are all members of the cohort number one for our SOTA system as it's rolling out. And today's meeting is going to be very informal, very much driven by you all. So today's meeting is about you. We really want you to feel safe to share with us your successes, your struggles, thoughts, concerns, questions, anything you might have on your mind. We want you to come to these meetings with that in mind, and feel free to let us know. Please know that if we don't have answers, we will most certainly share your questions with the office and do our best to get those answers. So again, use this opportunity to just share with us anything you might have on your mind. These meetings are all about sharing updates and information. We will share with you any updates and information that we might have. We also hope that you will share with us what's happening in your district, your thoughts on OSIS's work and our systems, and share with each other. We really want you guys to be a great resource for each other moving forward, and we hope that these meetings will provide an outlet for that and a collaborative time for you all. Today's meeting objectives, we want to talk a little bit about the SOTA root cause analysis for those who have gone through them. We want to get your thoughts on what happens next with SOTA. And then we just want to hear kind of what's happening in your new normal, what the world that is out there, what's happening in your district, how are you guys dealing with the different things that are popping up and the ever-changing climate that we're all functioning under. And then anything that you would like for us to work on before our next cohort one meeting and topic ideas that you might have. So we really want this to be a conversation. We ask that you unmute and talk with us, talk with each other. You are also welcome to put it in the chat box and we will do our best to vocalize that for you if you can't come off of mute. But we really want this to be a fluid conversation between you all. So we kind of want to take the back seat and let you all steer us forward. So just kind of start off with our RCAs. For the LEAs who have completed any of the 4 RCAs, and those would be in our 4 focus groups: academics, social emotional learning, early childhood outcomes, and post-secondary outcomes. And I think we've had 3 districts who have completed some of those, and we may have had some other districts who have at least taken a look. How much time did it take? How would you feel about doing all 4 of them? Share with us about your experience, just any kind of comments or thoughts you have around those RCAs. And Sarah Garrett, I see you. Will you monitor that chat for me?
I will, yes.
I'm trying to check our attendance list. Do we have Greenwood 50 by chance in the house, or Edgefield? And we had one other who did it. I don't actually see.
This is Lisa Harmon.
Lisa, yes.
I don't know if you consider mine complete. My one that we're doing, I actually have a meeting after this one at 3:00 to hopefully finish the preschool one. But so I don't know if I'm.
No, we absolutely share with us what your experience was.
A lot, but I waited to see if anybody else would speak up. So looking at your questions, I mean, I think I've shared all this with y'all as well, but I will say, doing one at a time, I can't imagine it's a long process, I think, but it has to be to do it correctly, in my opinion, because it's just something that you have to kind of go through and, really analyze what you're doing and be honest with yourself and look at what needs to be improved and what doesn't. So I think what I've shared with you all is that, the way the form is done, I mean, it's lengthy and a little daunting, but I do feel like it gave me a good visual when I was through. I could kind of look at it and see which radio buttons I had hit that looked like, which columns really showed that we were doing okay and some that we really were not. And so, I'm sure that the form could be tweaked but and somebody may have that feeling, but I feel like it was helpful. It definitely, the preschool one, I can't speak for the others. I have those printed out, but I have not, really looked over them. But the preschool one definitely took a multidisciplinary team. And I think that's what y'all want us to do, period. That's the impression I've gotten. And no matter which one we're doing, but it really made us pull together our already existing preschool inclusion little group. And so we had our early childhood person there. We had a lead speech person, our lead preschool psych, and parenting person. So we really had a nice little group that helped answer some of those questions. So that's basically what I wanted to start out by saying is I do think it's been a helpful process. Again, it is time consuming, but I think you just have to know that going into it. And then I think the meetings that we've had have been great. I mean, y'all helped me very much to process things. We are continuing to do that. Sarah and Jenny are great and awesome. Love them. So I'm looking forward to finishing that up today if we can, because we're now at the point where they're really trying to help us process what kind of help we need. And I appreciate that. So I'm going to stop talking there and see if that's helped at all. So.
Well, and it has, and I have to say, Lisa, the process and how we went through it was perfect. I so appreciate you and your team for answering those questions, and also just having that interaction that how we can support you, and I don't feel like we could have gotten there without the process, and how we could support you. So I just want to thank you and your team for working with us, and I'm looking forward to for our meeting after this also.
And Lisa, there was a question posted in the chat. Who all did you have on the different teams? And you guys just did early childhood, so maybe you can at least speak to who you put on that team.
Right. So and that we probably cheated because we already had a team. We had our team that we go through for Skippy with our preschool inclusion. That's the team that we also have that does our, as part of that, our community outreach to all of our daycares and Head Start and all that. So we really have, we're very fortunate. We've really built a strong partnership. So we usually used our time where we meet within district to work on the RCA. So that was myself and our lead speech person, our lead preschool psychologist. Well, our preschool psychologist won't really have a lead psychologist. We're kind of small here. Our early childhood director, who's fabulous. And then on that team is also someone that works under her, who is our parenting. She works, she's like our lead parent educator. So she goes out through the STAR program. She goes out into the homes, or did before COVID. So I think just having that whole team to work through that helped a lot. So I think just knowing that when we go through the other ones, and I feel like we're going to have to do all four, I'd love to be able to pull the right people together. I think that's the first thing you've got to do is figure out who needs to be on your team.
Hey there, this is Jenny May, and I agree completely. I think it was very smooth and seamless to slide into the early childhood RCA, because that district in particular kind of had some infrastructure around district leadership who could answer the questions, and they already had like a set meeting time. So that might be something else to kind of consider as folks begin to get ready for the RCAs, right? Like, I suspect that that's why the question was asked. I think that did facilitate things going nice and smooth, but it has been a really nice process with Lexington too. It went well. Once you get the right folks on the team, it is a nice, smooth system, I think.
For any of our districts or LEAs who haven't done the RCAs, is that one of the things that you all are kind of trying to consider as you prep as to what those teams would need to look at? look like? Who would need to be there? Is that one of your initial kind of steps, concerns?
Okay, and in the chat, Kathy responded, this is Abbeville, and we have not done an RCA because we have no time. And we totally understand that. That's why we kind of opened it up so that, you know, with everything that is going on, that it would be an option this year.
And I saw that we have Christy from Greenwood 50 with us today. Christy, do you um have anything to share? Because you guys did, I think, all of them except maybe early childhood, early childhood, excuse me. So y'all did quite a lot of time, put a lot of time and effort into that.
Yes, we actually did do all four.
Oh, okay, good.
And we sort of divided and conquered amongst our we have a leadership team comprised of different folks, and we sort of had each of our people on that leadership team take the role of being the leader of a subgroup and coming up with their people to be on the teams for each RCA. And our director, Debbie, gave us some strict dates and timelines to make sure we could try to stay on track. And so I actually was the one who was over the preschool one, and we had trouble. Our people that did the SEL, we had some trouble getting folks from the general ed environment to be a part of our team and to provide input. So that one we ended up kind of having to do on our own. But otherwise, we were able to get like our director of secondary and elementary and parent liaisons and different school psychologists and our lead speech person to be on different teams to help us complete them all. It was a great process. We did learn. It really does force you to see where your holes are and what needs to be, where we need to move toward fixing some of our problems. And we actually really thought the process was well worth the time involved for it.
Good. That's good to hear. Can you speak a little bit to that? You said with the SEL, getting the gen ed folks to come to the table was a little bit of a challenge. Did you guys pull any gen ed folks in on any of the other ones, or was it just SEL that you attempted that? Can you speak?
Yeah, we did. We did have gen ed folks in all of ours. The SEL is a real weakness in our district in general, and nobody just seemed to be able to provide a lot of help for us in that area. But like our director of early childhood elementary was on our preschool one. We had some administrators from the high school, both of our high schools on our secondary one, and as well as our academics. So we had no problem getting folks involved with the other three, but that SEL one was tough because we know that is a real weakness overall in all of our environments across the district.
Yeah, absolutely. And that kind of leads to where we kind of hope the conversation will flow a little bit is kind of what's next. What do you think and again, anybody who has looked at them, who maybe hasn't looked at them, just in general with action planning in your district, what do you think it needs to look like after the RCAs are done? And, and how much support do you think OSIS needs to take in that? And what do you want OSIS's role to kind of look like as you're moving through these phases? So with the RCA, with the action planning, how do y'all feel that needs to look like, be structured, that sort of thing?
Well, this is Christy again from Greenwood. I would love to see the action planning sort of coincide with the way the RCA looked, and maybe target the target the actions that we all had specific areas that really needed improvement. And then with us, we need help with just with finding the research-based areas and materials and curriculum and just things. We just need help finding those things because that can be so time consuming. And so finding ideas and suggestions, helping us know what trainings are out there, those are the types of things we need help with, as well as maybe a lot of the things that we came up with that we were needing further assistance on is creating like rubrics and ways to ensure fidelity and things. I guess checking ourselves, that was something we found out that we were just not doing consistently, is checking the fidelity of say the academic curriculum that we're using, or how are we checking ourselves for making sure that the IEP teams are using are guided with correct LRE placements for kids, those types of things, very specifics. And so I guess that's what we'd like to see is help with how we can find those specific details and what that would look like. I don't know if that jumbled mess made sense to anybody, but.
No, absolutely. That's exactly what we wanted to hear, just kind of where your thoughts were. I saw as a pause, I guess, there was a question in the chat that Nicole kind of spoke to. And Nicole, I didn't know if you wanted to come off mute and speak to that, or if hold the thought was the
I was
response
trying
at
so
the
hard
time.
not to. I was trying so hard not to, and just sit here and mind my own business and let you guys do your thing, because you're doing an amazing job, and thank you everybody who has shared. Because I also I am, if you guys have ever been in smaller meetings with me, I give away all the secrets when I'm in in the meetings, in those extra meetings. But we are very, very excited about our next steps, but the information that you guys are giving us today will help form those and inform how they look. But when we officially launch for all districts, and I'm using air quotes that you can't see because my camera's closed, all districts, really there's going to be phases over multiple years, because at first the all districts will be all districts who are tiered will be required to do all four. If you're in that universal, you're welcome to. We will support you through it. We will meet with you. We'll do whatever you need. But since your data is showing that maybe not perfect, but maybe better than some of our others, it's not a requirement to finish them. Now, we may get to a point, hopefully we get to a point where everyone's doing so well that you would do an RCA that is single based on your exact need based on data. We're not quite there yet. So where we're at right now is those who are tiered, starting next year, will do all four. But if you are not tiered, it is optional, and we're happy to help in any way, shape, or form. But the other thing that's coming, and Libba's probably like, shh, you don't know what our next slides are. The other thing that's coming up is how we'll support you guys. You all through your action plans. You were talking about finding evidence-based practices and all of that stuff. We have some amazing things coming up with a learning management system that it will start out for those districts that are tiered. And as we get it built and refined, it will be available for everyone, all teachers everywhere. I'm really excited, and I'm just going to be quiet and let you guys go on with the process. But does that answer the question?
Yes, I think it does. The question was,
All right.
when is the official launch for all districts? Thank you so much, Nicole, for clearing that up for us. And I just wanted to also piggyback on Kathy had also mentioned from Abbeville that also she says she's not sure who would be on her team. She's the SPED director, early childhood director, and over psych and speech. And we totally understand all those hats that you must wear. wanted to also ask you to consider bringing in, just like I think Christy said, bringing in maybe the gen ed teachers, the sped ed teachers, or admins to help you go through this process, because it's in the best interest of everyone, in your school, in your district. And to help you with that. And then, of course, that's what we're here for too, to help support you once you disaggregate that data, to help you identify what needs you would need from us, and how we can help support you in this process.
Well, and Nicole mentioned that we are launching kind of a virtual LMS system, and we don't have a slide about that today because, again, unlike Nicole, we like to keep a few secrets until we have some more details mainly. But when you're looking at supports, what kind of specifics are you thinking about there? Do you have ideas that, having looked at the RCA or started your action planning, do you have any things in mind like, oh, that would be great if we could tune in to something about fill in the blank, and you may not have it today, but please use these opportunities to share with us. That's the kind of feedback that will help guide us into the best supports that we can create for you. So please just always share that in those ideas with us. We'll do the best we can to provide whatever you guys bring to us. And we can keep talking about that, but we do want to offer the opportunity for you guys just to share in general with what's happening in your new normal. The big elephant in every room nowadays is that whole what do we do with COVID thing. So, talk to us, talk to each other. If there's anything just in general you guys want to share or ask questions about. Again, this is really kind of an open discussion. It can be about SOTA, but we wanted you to know it doesn't have to necessarily be just about SOTA at this point.
I did just want to add, as Lisa again, that one of the reasons why we went ahead and did one voluntarily, and again, my hat's off to Greenwood 50. I am so impressed. I wrote down that y'all are the experts in cohort 1 because y'all already gone through that process, and it could be that preschool was the easiest one. I don't know, but I think, just for what it's worth, SEL is going to be hard for everybody because I don't know of any districts that have that down. So please don't beat yourself up about that. That's just made a note. That's going to be one that'll be challenging, I'm sure, for everybody. But one of the reasons we went ahead and did it is because, first of all, our data is distressing to me, and I'm always try to be honest about that kind of stuff because I know our programs are excellent, but our LRE, we struggle with that, and a few other things. But I mainly wanted to go ahead and do that because I felt like the COSA, for example, we do that all year long, and it wasn't going to get any better until we went ahead and got the training. And so Jenny and Sarah were fabulous. That was one of my biggest things as a result of the RCA was, I knew we wanted the training, but it obviously the process of doing that led to that conclusion that we needed that, and they did that fairly recently. And I have to say it was really, really helpful the way we did it. So I'm sure Jenny or Sarah or I will be happy to share with you the training that they did. But I feel now that at least we have, it's February, and so we have a lot more information under our belt to go ahead and make changes. So I would just encourage you, because I know everybody is slammed, but if you have some things that you really want to get a hold of now, that I would encourage you to go ahead and do at least one, bite off one and do that one, because I do feel like the OSIS folks have been very willing to provide the support piece. So just wanted to encourage y'all in that regard. Thanks.
Thank you, Lisa.
My question is kind of totally changing the subject, if that's okay.
That's absolutely fine.
I'm Elizabeth Render with Lexington One, and I was just curious as to what are the plans with Enrich. Typically we used to change it, every 5 years looking at IEP programs, and now we're going on year 7. Are there any thoughts, ideas of what might be happening down the road with that?
Hey, this is Nicole, and yes and no. Yes, there is, and no, there's not. So what happened was we initially were going to renew our contract with Enrich, and all was going to be good. And then the department decided they wanted I can't remember their fancy IT words that they used, but basically a full service. Not only would it be your Power School, but it'd be in your Enrich, and you could write. They wanted something that covered everything, and so they were going to put out an RFI to see if such a thing even existed, and if such a thing existed, would everybody be interested? It turns out we're going to end up renewing with Power School. So if we're renewing with Power School, that then put us on a timeline. Well, then we got to figure out with what we're doing with Enrich. But since Power School hasn't renewed and that RFP hasn't gone out, we will continue to renew with Enrich unless or until they have a solid contract with Power School. I do not see Enrich changing in the near future, and by near future I mean even next school year. But depending on what happens with our other SIS systems, our student information systems, it will drive what happens to Enrich. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay.
It's just it's getting kind of old, and it would be a lot better if we could get data out of it easier. And so to me, that whole piece of Enrich was never its strong suit. And when we're looking at SOTAs and we're looking at doing that, it would just be better if we had a better program.
Well, which is how all of our regular ed counterparts felt about Power School, which is why we started looking at, and it's the struggle is real, and it is with all of our counterparts as well.
Thank you. I did have another question about the recorded meetings that we're having, like the one we had last time with Becky with the indicator 11 and 12 information. Are those just going out in emails, or is there going to be anywhere that we can access that on the website? That was so nice when we could go back and do the recorded webinars on the website, but now it's been a lot harder to find those.
And I'm sorry, ladies, I don't want to drive the meeting, but this is Nicole again. So cut me off if you have an answer and need to cut me off.
You go
But
right
they
ahead.
should be posted. Our data team should be posting them. Well, now our IT team, our data and IT are now separate. Our IT team should be posting them. They were going in under data. We will, I will have these wonderful ladies that are driving your cohort here follow up with both, if you guys could follow up with Shannon and Carolyn, because it would be Carolyn that probably posted the last one, and Shannon who'll be posting it from here on out, to find out exactly where those go, but they do get posted online.
Yeah, I think somebody commented, but nothing's been posted since December.
We haven't had anything happen since then. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. That's I tend to joke when I shouldn't joke. Let me find out. We will find out and follow back up around with where they are going, because I know they are recorded, and it may be an issue of they are getting closed captioning done.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
And we have
And
another question
Yeah.
in the chat. Marge, excuse me. Marge asked, will there be a spring administrators meeting this year? And when will the new process guide roll out?
I'm not going to touch the process guide question because I don't have all the details on that. I will stay far, far away from that. But I will tell you there will not be a spring admin, because we have met so much that there is nothing that we could roll out. We thought you guys would rather have more, because it would have to be virtual at this point. We're still in a situation where half our districts are virtual, half our districts are back. Some people could come, some people couldn't come, and travel still isn't 100% that we would be doing it virtually. And just in the virtual format, a whole day like that gets to be too much. So we will continue with our meetings like this one, then plus our whole LEA and then the open office hours. And then was that all the whole question? I got to look back in the chat. When will the new process guide? Oh yeah. So I answered spring admin. I'm not touching the process guide. There's so many ins and outs of that that's so political. I don't have the right answer.
And Nicole, there was another question. When will the Tier 1 Universal Support Resources Locator be available again?
Well, that I'm also going to defer to these ladies to go back to. Now you all check with not Carolyn.
I think
Shannon.
it's Shannon. I think it's the
Check
same
with
team, yeah.
Shannon.
Shannon.
The resource locator should be available as we are redoing it, but I do not believe they were closing it in order for the redo to happen, because Rutledge is redoing. Okay. Oh, for non-OSIS folks, that means people outside of the Office of Special Education Services are the ones that are going to end up doing it.
For who posted, the guest who posted that that comment, I'm sorry, do you need the link, or is the link not working? When you say again, because I do think Nicole was right. I don't think, access was denied. Okay. I'm just making a note so I can know exactly what to ask.
Hey, Elizabeth, this is Bevelyn. Hi, everyone. I think that they're revamping it. There's some things that we have to work out, so it's down now. We're going to get it back up as soon as some things are checked and double checked, and we'll get it back up.
Great, Bevelyn, thank you.
And we have another question in the chat. Will there be some time we can discuss the new COAST guidance document?
Hey guys, this is Jenny May. If you are interested, I've heard tale of a few folks here and there who might be interested in like a webinar or a time where you could ask questions around what I'm affectionately calling the Glorious Guide to COAST. Please go ahead and unmute or just say, yes, I'd like that. And we'll go ahead and see about getting that scheduled in the near future. I'd be happy to answer any questions that I'm able to right now if you have them off the top of your head. But I'd also be interested if there was, like critical mass for more than one person to go ahead and more than a few folks, more than a handful of folks who'd like to spend their time discussing that. All right, I see one yes. No pressure, but I'm looking. Yep, I see a few more yeses.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Don't be shy to tell me because we'll get going on it. Thank you.
So Jenny, I mean, I kind of got the copy of that guide through somebody else who had gotten it. I mean, is it going to be rolled out and told to all? I didn't know if there was going to be like a big rollout or.
Well, we don't have a rollout currently scheduled to my knowledge. And again, that it's in partnership between the early childhood folks and the data collection folks, because there's both a programmatic piece to it in terms of IEP teams deciding together the scores on the entry and exit. And then there's also all the logistics around how to report the data. So while I don't know of anything concrete scheduled, I do know that we are polishing the accessibility of the PDF document that then will be posted online and like readily accessible in the child's outcome summary, kind of the supports and resources listed there. But I think it might be helpful, and I'm gathering that several folks in the cohort think it would be as well, to just kind of have a meeting, make sure we send that out to everybody, or everybody knows where the document is and what's included in it, and then kind of generate some questions and be able to ask them of like a panel of folks. And I while nothing like that is scheduled currently, what I'm getting from the yeses is that would be nice to have. So So if that's correct, we'll go ahead and work on moving that way and then let y'all know somehow about when it'll be and make sure everybody's prepared and everything. But you're right. Right now, it's not yet on the website. I know that Andrea Cannon spent a great deal of time working hard on that document, and so she's just finishing up the accessibility pieces, and it'll be posted, and then we can kind of move forward with a more formal launch, for lack of a better word, of that information. Does that help? Does that answer your questions?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, good. Okay.
If you're as you're thinking of other questions or comments, please know you can also kind of let us know what topics you might like to see covered in these kind of monthly meetings as we move forward. Just in general, anything specific. Again, just want to kind of let you know anything you have to share with us. We want to take that in today.
We just kind of threw out some examples. You know, if you want for us to help review the determinations, maybe how they align with the indicators, or take a deeper dive into the SOTA RCAs. Those are just a couple of examples, but we open it up to what you would suggest. What would you like to for us to cover during these meetings?
And along the lines of determinations, I think Nicole may have had some questions to throw out.
I do. I wanted to take advantage. I didn't want to take over this meeting, and I wanted to be sure that you guys were able to discuss anything you wanted to discuss, but I also wanted to take the opportunity, when you have an opportunity to gather stakeholder feedback, I mean, like, think about this as a genuine question. If we were sitting waiting for a conference to start having a conversation on the side, think of this like networking. So with our LEA determinations, we OSIS, we being OSIS, are looking at revamping our LEA determinations in a couple of ways. And let me tell you what I've seen as the issues, or what I've seen as potential issues, and I want you guys to tell me yes or no, or no, and you got to think about this, and don't forget about, just tell me how we could make them better. There's a couple of things with our LEA determinations. For example, I'm not entirely convinced that the WIN assessment is the best way to measure career readiness. All of our other performance factors are tied directly to an indicator in our SPP, whereas the WIN is not. That is not a required measure of our SPP. And I'm not sure that the WIN is the right assessment tool for that. So we're kind of looking at maybe a different way that we could, a different way to assess career readiness, or a different way to throw it out and bring something else altogether in. The other thing I mentioned at SCASA that we are looking at, the feds have added to our state performance plan. It's called indicator 3D. So it's part of all the statewide assessments, and we have to start this as a state. We're going to start to be measured on the assessment gap. So where are our kids compared to our special ed kids compared to our regular ed kids? And as a state, I can tell you what it looks like. We haven't disaggregated by district just yet at this point, but we would like we're considering adding a growth measure in there. So even if they weren't met, did they grow from last year? And that gap, we also would like to simulate some data to see how it would look district to district. Because I'll tell you, when we've done it historically, we find big gaps in actually high performing districts, because all your regular ed kids are also doing so well. Those gaps are really big. And in low performing districts where everyone's doing poorly, there's a teeny tiny little gap because everybody's doing poorly. So yeah, that's also some of the things we're taking into consideration. And then we'd also like to, we are getting ready to gather stakeholder feedback. I will tell you those ELA targets for the state have gotten much more attainable. And the graduation rate is going to become much more rigorous. So just as far as LEA determinations, because think of the LEA determination as your special education report card, and it's what we use for a risk assessment, or at least the performance pieces. Is there anything in there that you guys just think needs to be different, or you'd like to see more of or less of? It's going to be totally just not applicable. We are not going to, we talked about doing the LEAP data, using the LEAP stuff that everybody's got to report to OELL. So what I'm answering is what data will be considered for district profiles for ELA and math performance. We're not. We talked about using the LEAP data, but it just, it's so not consistent and all over the place that it's not a fair measure. It will probably just be not applicable during that year, because it'll be like we're going to change both the numerator and the denominator for the LEA determinations. We have had, I'm looking at Kathy's about the districts who have done RCAs regarding ELA and math scores and plans to improve those scores. We actually had a couple of folks, believe it or not, the most completed one was the social emotional learning one. And I think that's because that's on the top of everybody's minds right now, and it's the hot topic. But the academic ones, I don't know if there was anybody who had specific feedback. That would be great. And as far as replacing WIN, see, that's just the thing. It is OSIS's feeling that WIN is not the best measurement of career readiness, not the Department of Education's feelings that it's not the best measure of career readiness. So it would be, that's what we would have to figure out, is what do we place it with? What do we replace it with? Or do we just not use that as part of it? And I know how it came about, because you come to this point of, well, indicator 14 is post school, and everything we're doing is about, are they ready for after school? And so the WIN has, in theory, the ability to give us a little bit of an indication for that, but it's not. There's more than one ways to skin a cat. There's more than one ways to be ready, to be career ready. Oh, gap data for state tests. What we did for the gap data is we used historical data. We wouldn't be adding it to the LEA determinations yet, because we don't have them. There is a bill in the legislature right now for somebody is suggesting that we administer state tests even if we're allowed to get a waiver. Molly is advocating for a waiver. So we don't know if there's going to be tests this year yet or not. So there's a little bit going on. The gap data that we did, we simulated from historical data so that we could see what it might look like and how it might impact districts. Before we made a decision, we wanted to know how it was going to fall out. And so no, it would be going forward one day when we once again finally can actually measure that. Because and I also don't know, here's a little known fact, I didn't know if you guys knew this or not, but Ready scores are aligned to ACT scores, which are aligned to, are you ready for college? So being not met on an SC Ready means you're not ready for college. I don't know if you guys knew that or not. Yes, it would include all assessments. The waiver would include all assessments. But that's not, like I said, it depends on what our state legislature says. And if you guys have any specific input that you don't want to talk about here in a large group, please feel free to email it to me. I know we're coming up close on a time that you all will be done anyway. Or if you would like to be part of a stakeholder group that's looking at parts of that, that would be wonderful. We'd love to have you too. Send me an email. It's nadams@ed.sc.gov. I'll put that in the chat. But we are doing some very intentional looking at the LEA determinations. Any changes would not be in the determinations you're about to get. They would be in future, because like I said, we need to reasonably simulate it and make sure that we're making the best. Oh, thank you, Sarah. Making the best decisions.
You're welcome.
So I will hand it back over to your cohort ladies. And I apologize. It was not my intention to come here and talk. I was going to be a fly on the wall, but everybody got me so excited I had to talk.
Oh, no, no,
No,
we
that's absolutely
appreciate you.
fine. Yes. We did want to also share your cohort, your point of contacts. These are your cohort 1 managers. These are our email addresses. You can always email us as well, and we can of course forward that straight on to Nicole if you don't grab her email address from the chat. Just wanted to make sure you guys had those email addresses. We are drawing close to the end. Does anybody have anything else you wanted to throw out there, ask, chat about? Anything? Again, we really want this to kind of go however and wherever you guys want it to go. And did we get to everybody's question from the chat box? I think Nicole was kind of running down it and got them all, but just to make sure, if we didn't, let us know. We can try to tie up that loose end real quick.
I believe we have all those questions answered.
Fantastic. Okay, well, again, we will stick around for a while in case anybody wants to hang out and chat, but we thank you for coming with us today. The next cohort monthly meeting right now is scheduled for March 17th, so we will see you guys then. Again, please feel free to hang out and talk with us. We appreciate you being here today.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.